大家好, welcome back to our video everyone. Today we're going to be discussing things we would advise that you don't do in China. And I hope that you'll enjoy the video and find it funny or useful depending. Let's get started with the video. Almost everyone will know this. You shouldn't wear shoes inside someone's home. Unless they explicitly tell you can keep your shoes on and you've confirmed it with them that it's actually okay.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I'll say in my culture, you also shouldn't wear shoes inside someone's home. So this, I don't feel like this is a difficult thing to comprehend. And I think most people that have heard about Asian house rules will already know this. This is where China and its neighboring countries differ a little bit. You should not bow to people in China. It's not the social norm here. You don't bow to people just because they're older than you or have a slightly higher status at work than you do. I think the only time I've heard people bow here is for your elderly in the family for New Year's. Some people do it, or like the family shrine if you have one.
Yeah, or probably waiters, waitresses will probably do it.
Yeah, but it's not something you should do at people. The only other area I've seen people bow are people that are bowing in a religious context, like at the temple. And I would still say it's the minority of people we see that bow fully. So yeah, it's just not the norm. Don't do it. That's more of a Japan and Korea thing.
Yeah.
And the culture here is just very different in this one area.
Yeah.
I think in the future we could do a video of where China, Korea, and Japan differ from each other, because a lot of people lump them together and think that the culture is the same when it's not anymore. I just mentioned that people in a religious context will bow. This kind of relates to that. So when you go to a temple in China, please don't take pictures of Buddha.
Yeah.
It's very, very inappropriate. You don't take pictures within the temple walls. But you can take picture of Buddha if it's outside.
Yeah.
That's perfectly normal, and you see that a lot on Chinese social media. The people have taken like artsy photos with the Buddha. Just don't do it inside the temple. It's not the norm. You might see some people trying to sneakily do it, but just know that they're also breaking the rules.
And also, it's not just a foreigner thing.
No.
A lot of Chinese also do that. A lot of people don't know much about religion. Yeah.
You might not get told by someone that that's not okay, but just don't do it. It's disrespectful to the people who are there to actually
monks are not aggressive. They won't chase you out of the temple. Yeah, they won't tell you. They won't be aggressive to you, but you should follow those rules.
You shouldn't feel bad for telling people no when they ask to take your picture, or the pictures they might ask to take of your children. You shouldn't feel pressured to allow them to take pictures.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not a behavior I would say most Chinese young people enjoy, that people still glorify having random pictures of foreigners.
Yeah.
And other
people find it a bit weird.
Yeah, and other mixed couples I have spoken to where one person is Chinese and the other person is foreign, like in our situation, also comment that is quite uncomfortable when you're a couple, because as the Chinese person you realize how strange it actually is. You might not be okay with how they're going to use those photos, because some people share them on social media. Just like anywhere else, sometimes uncomfortable comments are made about it, or you might be objectified in a way. It's completely up to you if you are okay with it or not, but it's also fine if you feel uncomfortable, and you should just tell me like, oh no.
Yeah.
And they should 100% at that point accept it. Most people will just be like, oh, okay, sorry. This isn't surprising to me, but it might be surprising especially to people from North America. You don't tip people here at all. You don't tip your waiter. You don't tip anyone who does any beauty treatment for you. You just don't tip people. People get paid.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Business owners pay their staff.
weird. Just don't tip people here. They will find it probably a little bit uncomfortable even in some situations.
Yeah.
It's completely unnecessary, and again, people will be confused. They'll think you just paid them too much. This might come as a bit of a shock, but you should not give money to people begging on the street. It sounds strange when I say that because I get that you're trying to do something nice, but in China, people who don't have a home have places to go. Like you can get help from the government just if that's the situation you find yourself in.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time these people won't be real beggars. It used to be a pretty big problem that people were purposefully made to create sympathy.
Yeah.
And get more money.
Yeah, if you're Chinese, you know what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of scammers on the street. They act like beggars. They just want money. They walk around. For example, in the train station, Hangzhou train station, there's a very famous old lady. Homeless, it was probably a problem like 20 years ago, but right now it's not a problem. They can get help if they're on the street begging for money. But if you meet someone who really needs help, like they're hungry or something,
that's different.
That's different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
We're talking about those specifically that are asking you for money. I really dislike that I feel like I have to say this. In China, adult workers, that industry is illegal here. It's illegal. Don't solicit it. It's exploitative, but it's also very illegal and you can't get in trouble for it. Also, don't go to China or Asia to do adult tourism. It's quite nasty, the history behind why foreigners come to China and other Asian countries to do this. Also, don't solicit illegal substances because that can really get you in serious trouble. Definitely don't bring them into China, just so you know. Don't do it even if it's something that's legal in your country. Check it before you come here because you can really get yourself in some serious trouble. China takes their drug policy very seriously. If you get offered it by someone, say no. Get the heck out of there because you probably don't want to be close to someone that's doing that. And I know a lot of foreign men specifically, when they are in China, solicit ex-workers.
Yeah. Passport bros, people that are here for work. That includes Danes that come here and do some work.
And on that topic as well, another thing you need to keep in mind is you are not allowed to take pictures of military buildings or military equipment in China. You're actually not allowed to do that in most countries. In Denmark, it's the same, and you can be arrested for it. You can also be accused of espionage. So I have heard stories where people did get in trouble with the police for having done it.
Yeah.
And it'll actually also say on signs that you're not allowed to. We've walked past buildings where it was like, you cannot film, you cannot take pictures of this. And as a Chinese person, he can't do it either.
Yeah.
You can take pictures of police here. That's not a crime at all.
No.
So it's not like government control. It's literally for the safety of the country that you're not allowed to.
Because those are typical like spy behavior.
Yeah, and China has a serious problem with foreign spies in this country, especially right now. It's an international topic that's been on the news a lot. So just be mindful of that you don't want to you don't want to break the law in this area either. It's a very dumb thing to do, and I get it. Like, you could be a tourist and just be like, oh, cool, a military building. I get it. Logically, I can get it. But remember, you're not allowed to. And read the signs. I've seen it be said in Korean, Japanese, and in English, usually. Another law in China that you might have heard talked about and probably been told false information about, honestly. You might have heard you can't have a religion in China. You 100% can. If you've seen previous vlogs of ours, you've seen that we actually visit several religious places, and religion is actually fairly big, especially in Hangzhou. Hangzhou has been like the religious hub of China in ancient times. But something that you cannot do is you cannot preach your religion to people. So for example, knocking on people's doors and being like, oh, you gotta become like us and let me tell you about God. You're not allowed to do that. So you can choose to become religious. For example, it's completely fine that I tell him in my private life about my religion, especially if he asks, but I'm not allowed to go harass people with my religion.
Yeah, like China, especially big cities, has a big problem, like a foreign preaching problem.
Yeah.
Like especially in like university area. Yeah.
And you can actually find quite a few websites of different types of Christians talking about which area of China to go to, how many people are Christian. It's actually a little bit creepy.
Like Joshua Project.
Yeah, you can look that up if you're interested, but it definitely is a bit icky. But just don't do it. Don't bother people like that. And most people just don't care much. Like when I say I'm religious, people don't care. They're like, okay, cool, good for you.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, do not take tourism souvenirs. For example, a brick from the Great Wall of China, a finger from the Terracotta Warrior. Just like every other normal country that is protected because it's China's history, you cannot take that home. It hurts the country. There's already enough problems with the British Museum having stolen stuff from around the world. Don't be like the British Museum. China has quite a dark history of foreigners coming to this country in modern history times and just destroying it, taking it because, oh, it would be fun to bring home. And that is unacceptable. Because of that, China really has to protect itself in this way. You don't want a situation like in Egypt where most of their mummies that have been found have been destroyed because foreigners from other countries decided to just do whatever they wanted to with them. Don't do it. That is also illegal. If they catch you with it, that is a crime. So to kind of finish off all of these points, we've mentioned a bunch of things that you shouldn't do or that are illegal in China. But please don't be scared of visiting China. I'll say police here are super duper nice. Like we filmed somewhere where we weren't allowed to film at one point and they told us like, oh, please just, if you go like a few meters that way, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude that most Chinese people have. I find that Chinese people are super kind, very helpful. So please don't feel scared of visiting the country. Yeah. Just keep in mind that this is someone's home, so you don't need to act too crazy. Don't be a Logan Paul.
It's all about the respect.
So these were the 10 things that we felt were the most important to say.
Yeah.
That we could come up with. There's a lot more. I would encourage that our Chinese viewers add the things that they wish foreigners would stop doing or the foreigners shouldn't do. Because I'm sure they have way more than what I can think of. So yeah, thank you if you made it to the end of the video. We hope that you'll come back for future videos and maybe consider liking this video or subscribing if you're not already a subscriber, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.